Today, we're sharing more incredible stories from history. Tales of everyday people pushed beyond their breaking point until they finally snapped. Maria Oktyabrskaya. The year is 1925. A young woman named Maria meets and falls in love with a dashing Soviet army cadet named Ilya Oktyabrskaya. They marry quickly and begin building a life together in Kiev. Maria is deeply devoted to her husband and commits herself to being the perfect military wife. She joins the Military Wives Council and even trains to become an army nurse. She often tells friends, "When you marry a serviceman, you serve in the army too." Ilya greatly appreciates her dedication. As he climbs the military ranks, their life improves steadily, and they share 14 happy years together. But in 1939, World War II erupts across Europe. By 1941, the Soviet Union enters the conflict. Ilya, now an officer, is deployed to the front. As the Germans advance eastward with Operation Barbarossa, Maria is evacuated to Siberia. There, she waits anxiously for a letter from Ilya, but none arrives. Weeks become months, then years. Finally, in 1943, she receives the devastating news she always feared. Ilya was killed in action at the very start of the war, defending their hometown of Kiev. Maria is shattered. The news of his death took 2 years to reach her. All the hope she clung to was in vain. Instead of falling into despair, Maria is filled with fury, consumed by a burning need for revenge. The Germans had stolen everything: her life, her home, and now her husband. They would pay. She sells her remaining possessions and donates every last ruble to the Red Army to fund the construction of a T-34 tank. With her donation, she sends a letter demanding that when the tank is ready, she will be its driver. Surprisingly, the State Defense Committee agrees. Maria enters a 5-month training program while her tank is being built. After graduating, she's assigned to the 26th Guards Tank Brigade. Once her tank is complete, she's appointed as its driver and mechanic. In her husband's memory, she has the words "fighting girlfriend" painted on the turret. Visual break/transition suggested here. Her new crew thinks it's a joke, some sort of Red Army publicity stunt. They can't believe they're stuck with a middle-aged woman as their driver. But Maria is about to prove every doubter wrong. On October 21st, 1943, fighting breaks out near Smolensk, and the fighting girlfriend rolls into its first battle. Maria expertly maneuvers the tank, helping her crew destroy a series of German machine gun nests and artillery positions. As they push forward, the tank is hit. A shell disables one of its tracks, stranding them under heavy fire. Ignoring orders, Maria rushes out to make repairs. German soldiers spot her and unleash a hail of bullets. She fixes the track, leaps back inside, and drives her crew to safety, earning their complete respect and trust. After this engagement, she's promoted to sergeant. A month later, on November 17th, her tank joins a night battle near Novoe Selo. Once again, it's hit by artillery and its tracks are destroyed. Maria and a crewmate exit under enemy fire to make repairs while comrades provide cover. They succeed and return to the fight. 2 months later, in January 1944, Maria's crew joins another night battle near a small village. She skillfully positions the tank, and they unleash fire on German frontline defenses. For a third time, the tracks are blown off by a shell. Again, Maria rushes out into enemy fire to fix them. She manages the repair, but her luck runs out. As she's about to climb back inside, explosions erupt around her. Shell fragments strike her head, and she falls unconscious. Her crew pulls her to safety and retreats. Maria remains in a coma for 2 months before succumbing to her wounds. Her vengeful tour of duty lasted just 1 year. Though her time at war was brief, Maria Oktyabrskaya was posthumously named a hero of the Soviet Union, an honor equivalent to the Medal of Honor. François Lowrie. This next individual might not be described as nice, but he definitely snapped, and his breakdown led to one of history's most extreme rampages. In 1630, a boy named Jean-David Now was born in Les Sables-d'Olonne, France. His family is impoverished, so as soon as he's old enough, he's sold into indentured servitude. He eventually ends up in the Caribbean, laboring on a plantation. After fulfilling his contract, he's freed in 1650. Now a free man, he drifts between islands until reaching French-controlled Saint-Domingue, modern-day Haiti. There, he's welcomed into a band of buccaneers. These men started as hunters, Their name came from the book-and smoking racks they used to cure meat. But by the 1650s, Spanish pressure made hunting difficult, forcing many into piracy. Among these hunter pirates, Jean finds the family he always wanted. They rename him François L'Olonais, the Frenchman from Milan. He learns their ways of hunting and raiding, and for the first time, feels truly alive. With his new crew, he raids Spanish ships across the Caribbean. Everything changes when he loses it all again. 2 years into his pirate life, François and his crew are shipwrecked on the Yucatan Peninsula. While heading toward a settlement for supplies, Spanish soldiers ambush them. The buccaneers fight back, but it's a slaughter. François survives only by smearing himself in his friends' blood and hiding beneath their corpses. After the Spanish leave, he crawls out and stares at the mangled bodies of the only people who ever showed him kindness. In that moment, something inside him breaks. The world had been relentlessly cruel to him. Now, he would repay that cruelty in kind. With help from escaped slaves, François commandeers a small boat and sails to Tortuga, a buccaneer safe haven. There, he's given a new ship and quickly recruits a crew. Now consumed by hatred, he shifts from robbing ships to terrorizing Spanish towns. He tortures and kills mercilessly, seizing their wealth. Spanish authorities take notice. The governor of Cuba dispatches a ship with 90 soldiers to capture him. The mission is a disaster. François captures the entire crew. He lines the bound prisoners on his deck, sharpens his sword, and personally beheads 89 of them. He spares one, giving him a message for the governor. I shall never give quarter to any Spaniard. I hope to one day execute the same punishment upon you. François continues his reign of terror, becoming infamous for his brutality. He mutilates captives, burns them alive, and uses a method called the Spanish tie, tightening a rope around the neck until the eyes bulge. He leaves only one survivor after each attack to spread the fear. In 1666, he joins forces with the infamous pirate Michel le Basque to raid Maracaibo. Finding most townspeople fled with their gold, he tracks them down and tortures them until they reveal hidden riches. They next sack Gibraltar, massacring its garrison despite being outnumbered, then ransom the town. After the ransom is paid, which annoys François, he plunders the city anyway. In a final gratuitous act, he burns nearby native fishing villages, a move that served no strategic purpose but fit his cruel nature perfectly. In 1667, François sets course for Honduras. After pillaging a coastal town, his crew is ambushed. He escapes with 2 hostages. Reaching a clearing, he turns on one prisoner, slowly drawing his blade.
Wait, what are you doing? Oh God, stop! Show me how to get out of here, or I'll do the same to you. Holy shit!
The horrified surviving captive is forced to guide him to San Pedro. From here, François' luck runs out. Later expeditions into Central America fail. He's nearly killed multiple times by indigenous groups. He's finally captured by the Cuna people in Panama. They dismember him alive, then roast and scatter his ashes. Today, more people might know the anime, character named after him than the man himself. But François L'Olonais remains etched in history as one of the most terrifying pirates of his age. Henry Barry Lowrie. The date is April 12th, 1861. Across a farm in North Carolina, 16-year-old Henry Lowrie dashes past rows of crops, laughter trailing behind him as he plays a game of chase with his brothers. The Lowrie family are Lumbee, a native tribe rooted for generations in Robeson County, living off the land they farm beside the dense, sheltering swamps. But on this very day, far away in South Carolina, Confederate cannons roar to life at Fort Sumter. The American Civil War has begun. Almost immediately, Confederate troops start rounding up young Lumbee men for forced labor, conscripting them to construct military forts. Conditions are brutal. Disease runs rampant, claiming many lives. Refusing to serve a nation that denies them equal standing, and horrified by the treatment, many of the Lowrie men slip away, vanishing into the nearby wetlands to hide. As the war drags on, supplies grow scarce. Hunger sets in, and so Henry begins guiding small groups of relatives on daring trips into nearby settlements, taking food from the stores and plantations of the wealthiest locals. Unsurprisingly, the powerful plantation owners are furious. Whispers soon spread through the county that the Lowries are not just stealing. They're allegedly harboring escaped Union soldiers deep in the swamps. In response, the local elite decide the Lumbee must be made an example of. In 1864, Confederate Postmaster James P. Barnes publicly accuses the Lowrie family of stealing his livestock, 2 pigs. He knows any trial would be heard by a jury of his peers, men who would never side with free people of color, almost guaranteeing a death sentence. Allen Lowrie, the family patriarch and Henry's father, pleads with Barnes, insisting his kin are innocent. Barnes dismisses him coldly. Henry, now 19 and hardened by the realities of war, watches his father's spirit break as Barnes walks away. He has learned a bitter lesson. Justice will never find the Lumbee in a white man's court. So, on the night of December 21st, 1864, Henry picks up his rifle, finds Barnes walking a lonely path home, and steps into his way. Seeing the weapon, Barnes throws his hands up in a gesture of surrender. But Henry's choice is already made. This man threatened his father's life. He raises the rifle, takes aim, and fires a single shot into Barnes's chest. In an instant, Henry is a killer, an outlaw. But if this is what protecting his family demands, so be it. With his final breath, Barnes gasps, "The Lowries have killed me." A dying declaration that echoes through the small, gossip-fueled town. Henry's hope for a quiet resolution vanishes. Though he escapes arrest for lack of proof, the wealthy families are baying for blood. To deliver their own brand of justice, they summon one of the most feared groups of the era, the Home Guard. Mostly wealthy men who bought their way out of military service. The Home Guard began as a local militia, but have since become little more than Confederate-sanctioned thugs. Spurred by Barnes's murder, they ride into Robeson County, terrorizing random Lumbee families, trying to force a confession. The worst among them is James Brantley Harris, who begins assaulting Lumbee women. When warned to stop, Harris laughs, then shoots and kills Henry's cousin, Jarman Lowrie. Jarman's brothers, home on leave from forced labor, are seized by Harris. He claims he's returning them to duty, but once out of sight, he beats them to death and declares it self-defense. The courts look the other way. Harris walks free. Henry can stomach no more injustice. 3 of his cousins are dead. So, on January 15th, 1865, Henry waits along a deserted road, rifle in hand. When Harris finally rides into view, Henry steps out, aims, and fires. Another life taken, another measure of justice delivered in the only way left to him. He believes the score is settled. He is wrong. On March 3rd, a squad of Home Guard riders storms his father's farm. From a hiding place, Henry watches them trample crops, ransack the home, and, crucially, find firearms that free people of color were banned from owning. Allen Lowrie desperately tries to explain, but they aren't listening. He and one of Henry's brothers are dragged outside. A kangaroo court assembles right there in the yard. A swift, sham conviction is delivered for thievery. The 2 men are tied up and executed by gunfire as Henry watches, powerless. The raiders ride off smug. Henry rushes to his fallen father and brother. They are gone. Cradling their bodies, he makes a silent vow. This will be avenged. He gathers his closest friends, and together they pull off a brazen heist, stealing a huge cache of Confederate weapons from Lumberton. Thus begins the era of the Lowrie Gang. They launch larger, more daring raids, targeting the richest plantations and distributing food and supplies to the county's poor, who are suffering terribly from the war's aftermath. For 2 years, they steal but do not kill. Henry becomes a legend with 2 faces, a hero to the oppressed, a villain to the elite. In April 1865, the Confederacy surrenders. Hoping the war's end brings a new beginning, Henry leaves the swamps and disbands the gang. But the plantation owners haven't forgiven him. He is arrested during his own wedding ceremony. His new bride helps him break out of jail. The message is clear. There will be no peaceful life for Henry Berry Lowrie. He reforms the gang. This time, there will be no restraint. In January 1869, the Lowrie gang arrives at the local sheriff's home. This isn't a theft, it's an execution. They kill him without mercy. They begin systematically hunting down the most virulent racists in the region, eliminating them one by one. By 1870, lawmen start capturing gang members. Henry's response is brutal and personal. He finds and kills those officers. Now, anyone who stands against them is an enemy, even the law itself. A bounty is placed on Henry's head, $2,000, dead or alive. It's an enormous sum, But the people of Robeson County, who see Henry as their protector, offer no help to bounty hunters. Law enforcement answers with equal savagery, killing anyone even suspected of aiding the gang. And each time, Henry retaliates swiftly. In a desperate move, in July 1871, the new investigator, Francis Wishart, orders the arrest of the Lowrie gang's wives. As Wishart's men escort the women, gunfire erupts from the swamp. 6 of Wishart's men fall before he escapes with his hostages. Days later, Henry and his lieutenants walk calmly into the home of a prominent plantation owner. They politely ask for breakfast. The terrified family complies. After eating, Henry requests pen and paper, writes a note, hands it to the owner, and thanks them for the meal before vanishing back into the landscape. The note chills the family to the bone. The bloodiest times are yet to come. If their wives are not returned in 3 days, a countdown begins. The townspeople beg Wishart to release the women. He refuses. 3 days pass. True to his word, Henry kills 2 more men. Panic grips Robeson County. So deep is the fear that a group of citizens frees the Lumbee women without Wishart's consent. The government raises the bounty to a staggering $12,000, a fortune worth about $300,000 today. Still, no one talks. Feeling the pressure mount, Henry gathers the gang. It's time for one final, legendary score. On February 16th, 1872, they robbed the Lumberton store of Pope and McLeod, escaping with $22,000, their biggest haul ever. But this time, the spoils aren't shared with the community. And after that day, Henry Barry Lowrie disappears from history. Some say he died in a gun-cleaning accident. Others claim he fled west to live out his days on the frontier. Only 2 facts are certain. His wife never remarried and never spoke of his fate, and no one ever claimed the massive reward on his head. So ends the tale of Henry Barry Lowrie, the Lumbee outlaw, the ghost of the swamp, the man hailed as a Robin Hood and hunted as a monster. Was he a hero or a villain? The answer depends on who you ask. But seriously, like and subscribe, dude. And let us know in the comment what next stories do you want from us?